Good morning. And today's going to be pocket tens. We are in the big blind. Folds small blind limps. And we just check. This should definitely be a raise. It should be a raise like all day, every day. Just when we look at the blinds, ISO raising range, this is minimum what we should be raising. And really, in a big blind, we've got position against a player that limps. It's not really showing a whole lot of strength. We should probably just be raising a lot more than this and just attacking. That's realistically how we should play. And the reason is why. Well, let's look at this guy's range. We've got 26 hands. He's playing 30, 35, 23. He's played 33% in small blind. Everyone folds to him. I'm just kind of putting together a range like this. I assume that he's going to raise these hands, these bigger premium hands, and then everything else is just a limp. So he's got a lot of hands that really probably can't stand a raise, and even if he calls, he's going to be out of position in the hand in a blind versus blind situation. Why I didn't raise is unknown to me. So if you see these, then there's going to be a lot more hands that we could raise. But I could have looked at it and said, I do know that he's got a lot of these hands, and if I raise, he's just going to fold. So let's go ahead and mix it up and just take a flop here with pocket tens and see if maybe he flops top pair when I flop trips, or he flops a pair and I have an overpair to where I can make more money. Because that's really what poker's about, is trying to make more money. So in a situation like that, I'm not sure. It's probably best to just say, set like a third or so, 33% of the time, I'm going to be raising like these hands, or just calling with those hands. I think probably call with just like ace jack, ace queen occasionally, kings and aces. I think those we could probably exclude. But I think we're looking at, sometimes raising, or sometimes just calling with hands like these. And this is obviously a pretty tight raising range, but we're sometimes raising them, sometimes limping them. That means we've got even more. So I'd probably add, rest of the suited aces and so forth, just to kind of attack them. So we're going to go with the hand here with this range, and the flop comes King 7-7, which isn't actually too bad. We've got the pair, makes it let pocket seven, or the pair sevens make it less likely that a seven's out there. You could have a king, but he's got a lot of hands that miss. So he checks, and I just check behind here. So I'm going to assume that he's checking everything since he's playing it passively. And then, when we think about what should we play in a blind versus blind situation, it kind of goes, typical play, I say goes out the window a little bit. It's like, yes, usually you will be betting trips. But sometimes if you bet trips, no one's going to call. The board's just super dry. You're betting hoping that he has a king, but at the same time, we might be able to get more if we check here and he attacks with his king on the turn. Probably the worst situation is if he's got, let's say, pocket nines and is willing to get it all in, and no one's betting. That's probably the worst situation. So I'd say like maybe half the time we're going to be betting our trips, and that means probably half the time we're going to be betting like an ace high hand, just kind of as a bluff. Somewhat of these pocket pairs, below the board. Sometimes we're going to be betting them. I think sometimes we're going to be betting the top pair hands. I mean, villain's showing a lot of weakness. So I think just generally overall, we're going to be maybe betting 50% of the time, and then the others just checking. Let's get these. Wish there's a way to just kind of do all 50%. And there probably is. Quads, I think, are going to be the one exception where we always check, and probably full house too. I think we're probably just always going to be checking here. And then, yeah, we're going to have some of these no-made hands as well. So, you've got 2-card backdoor flush draws. I think 50% of the time we're going to be checking, or we're going to be betting those. And really the ones we're probably going to be going are the middle ones that kind of connect with the sevens in some way. We're just going to throw it out there, and maybe not even 50%. Maybe like 25% or a third of the time. We're going to be doing, like maybe 6-5, 6-4. Maybe like 8-7, 8-6, 8-5, 8-4. No, not the sevens. We don't want the sevens. 9-8, 9-6, 9-5. 9-4 is stretching it. You probably miss all of those. Let's color those up here. I guess possibly 5-4. Like 10-8, 10-9. I think all fall in there. Jack-8, Jack-9. I think you've got your like Queen-Jack, Queen-10, Jack-10, possibly Queen-9. We're all betting. Okay, yeah, we'll just give it to that. So, and let's not forget our no made hands. So 80% of the time we're just going to be checking. All right, king comes up, and that's actually a horrible card. Well, not really. If he has a king, he's got a full house now. If he doesn't, now it's going to open us up to maybe getting called by a bluff, or bluff catch. So villain bets 1, and we just go check check. He could be doing this with anything. Really, he could be doing it with anything. Kind of exclude the full houses, plus I'm going to reduce the no made hands down to, let's say, 66. Yeah, I just kind of think full house is probably still going to just check here. I mean, he bet 1. He's going to look to try to get some money in there. So maybe a third of the time he's going to bet. Yeah, we'll just throw it in as a possibility that they lead. There we go. All right, we'll go with that. 71%. He bets. Into that bet, I'm definitely going to be calling or raising. Yeah, I'm not getting rid of quads, full houses. We want a little bit of value. Again, we're probably just gonna do, sometimes we're gonna be betting here, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we'll just call. Definitely think the king. I would probably say the 7's probably going to have a higher betting possibility. Definitely just going to call with ace high, pocket pair below top. I think we're calling here. Flush draw, we're calling. Probably even, well, yeah, I think that's probably it. So I think I'm going to be dumping a lot of my hands at this point. Just don't see a reason to call anything worse than ace high. So yeah, our hand just kind of tightens up quite a bit. So 3 clubs comes out, villain bets 1, and I think that's the sign to me that it does not have anything strong. That he is entirely looking at something just like that, maybe even a pocket pair below 8s. So when you look at like overall, he's just betting very weak. And here, if I raise any of this, he's not going to call. I don't think he's going to call 8s, which I think is the best hand. So we kind of miss out on some bets here. It would have been better for him to be betting something larger. I think the pot was 4. If he was betting 2 or 3 or 4 or something like that, then kind of makes sense to go ahead and raise these. Yeah, we'd still raise, but I'm not expecting to get called. So I'd probably raise to like 3 or 4, just try to get that last bet, and really just kind of kick myself for not getting paid more. Especially when I have a solid hand. Pocket pair below top pair, I think it's at minimum of call. And then same thing, ace high, I think is probably a minimum of call in this spot. I think that's probably it. And we'll get. I mean, yeah, we'll include those too. We should have pretty strong hands. So I just called, didn't raise. I showed the 10s, he shows 10-8. So yeah, I mean, you could see that he was very, very weak all throughout the hand. And quite frankly, I don't think we're getting called by this type of hand. So so let's just take some quick notes here. He's out of position. He checked. He bet 1 big blind. I guess he could bet. I guess that's technically 50%. So king of hearts, 7 of spades, 7 of diamonds, king of diamonds, 3 of clubs. It's definitely not my greatest hand, but at the same time, we are mixing it up. So yeah, 10 should have been erased, 100% should have been erased. Pre-flop, I chose to call it. I think to hope to make some more money again from a player that is going to be weak. Because if I raise, yeah, 10-8's probably not going to call. But if an 8 or a 10 flops, he's going to be calling, and he'll probably call at least 1 or 2 bets to get us more money. Do I regret the play? No. Again, you got to mix it up now. Anyone that kind of has recording hand histories and stuff is going to see that how I played this 10, and maybe they're going to assume that then when I have my solid hands, I'm going to check here. So when I raise, they might misjudge my hand, misread it for something weak. Who knows? But yeah, just based on his betting patterns, he's weak. And the question is, could I have gotten some extra money here? Now, even on the river, if I bet anything like this, he's not calling. Maybe though, maybe he calls with ace high. Ace high, pocket pair below. So he calls less than 50% of the time. Yeah, if he's calling less than 50% of the time, I'm not sure we can realistically make a solid value bet. Well, yeah, no, we could. We could. So 40% of the time he calls and we beat him. And actually more than that, so like almost 44%. So yeah, probably some missed value. Um, and I think that's going to be the thing. Missed value. Yeah, we're right. He's probably not going to call with most of his hands, but I think hands that he does have in his range, he might call the bluff catch, and that gets us a little extra. So going back to this river, he bets one. Let's go ahead and raise it up to 3. Um, we get that extra 2 big blinds possibly from the ace high hands. So yeah, I'd say we lost just a little bit of value. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, you can look tomorrow. I plan to post another.